My name is Antonio, and I will be giving my speech on why we shouldn't be vegetarians. So, according to vegetarian.procon.org, conducted in 2003 by Stephen Davis, an MD from Oregon State University, he said that for every 6 acres of agricultural land that is harvested, for every acre that is harvested from cultural or agricultural lands, 6 animals are killed. It's pretty ironic that some people go vegetarian to protect the lives of animals, and their food could have resulted in the death of animals, which is like kind of ironic. So, and background: everyone knows what meat is. There's no need to explain it. It's just a magical substance that is given to us from the gods. And I've eaten meat my whole life. I've also eaten fruits and vegetables, so like I know both sides of what they eat, and I've researched this topic substantially so. And people who don't eat meat are burning nutrients that are readily available in their environment. They should not cut that chain out, because after all, it is in this food pyramid that we've been exposed to our whole elementary career. It's right here, meat. Why would you cut that out? There's no reason to. So first, I will talk about the nutrients that are in meat. Second, I will talk about why killing animals isn't that bad. It's not as bad as people make it out to be, because they're using for meat. And lastly, I will talk about why cutting meat out of your diet is not a good idea. So, I mentioned nutrients. What exactly are those nutrients that are so abundant in meat and that we should intake? In an article titled Dietary Intake and Iron Status of Australian Women, posted on the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 1999, by Madeline Ball, a professor at the University of Tasmania, she presented an experiment in this article that involved 50 women who were vegetarian and 24 women who were meat eaters. And basically the results that came out from that experiment were that those 24 people were those 24 people had a substantially higher amount of protein and iron. And those two nutrients are important for the body maintaining homeostasis, so that's the reason why the vegetarians couldn't sustain their normal body levels as good as the meat eaters, because they were intaking those substances while the meat eaters were intaking those substances while the non-meat eaters were. And according to the website vegetarian.procon.org, should people become vegetarian? Date access February 16, 2016. Oh, let's B12. They mentioned that B12 vitamins are abundant in meat, and what B12 does, it helps maintain iron in your blood, and it's substantially responsible for the production of genetic material, your DNA or RNA. And they said that for every 3 vegetarians there are 2 who are deficient in this. For every meat eater for every 20 meat eaters there's only 1. So the ratio is more noticeable between the 2. So now that we discussed what nutrients are in meat, now I'll discuss why killing animals shouldn't be looked down upon. So I said earlier that vegetarians turn vegetarian because they think it's a red flag when it comes to animal cruelty, but it really isn't. So in a government website, last modified February 22nd, 2016, titled Humane Methods of Slaughter Act, it didn't have an author, it basically explained the Humane Methods of Slaughter Act, that basically says that you need to stun the animal before you kill it so it passes on peacefully. There's no pain involved. But the only animals that aren't it's like regulated by the throw our birds. So next time the turkey is on the Thanksgiving table, just appreciate it. And all right. And in a magazine article from Time magazine named "Don't Feel Guilty About Eating Animals" by Jeffrey Kruger, a senior writer at Time magazine, he posted an article on May 13th, 2014, saying that if cows could eat us, they would. They don't care about what we would say while we were being eaten. They don't care about our emotions. Because if they have the ability to eat us and they're hungry, they would. And that's like part of the circle of life. We are the predators and they are the prey. We've been eating meat for like 2.2 million years. It's not gonna go anywhere. So now that we spoke about why killing animals is not as bad as it seems, I'll finish with my last main point, which is why you shouldn't cut meat out of your diet. So according to a Forbes magazine article posted on April 8th, 2014 by Stephen Pomeroy, a zoologist, named "Study Links Vegetarian Diet to Poor Health, Lower Quality of Life." He didn't do this experiment himself, but he mentioned that this experiment had 1,300 people divided into 4 groups. Those 4 groups were pure vegetarians, pure meat eaters who focused more on meat, and meat eaters who focused more on vegetables. And he noticed that the people who focused on just being vegetarian suffered depression and anxiety. And an article mentioned by Sally Morrell, co-founder of the Weston A. Price Foundation, named 22 Reasons Not to Go Vegetarian, data acquired February 16, 2016. She mentioned that vegetarian processors add artificial flavors that contribute to vegetarian foods tasting like meat. After all, we have developed tongues for meat, so it's not coincidence. So now that I told you that meat's beneficial, you shouldn't cut it out of your life, let's finish this up. I said that people who don't eat meat burn the bridge to resources that they shouldn't be burning. They should eat meat. I talked about the nutrients that are in meat. Then I talked about why killing animals shouldn't be looked down upon. And then I talked about that cutting out meat is not a good thing to do. So I finished off with this quote because I sounded like him. You'd accidentally give me the food that eats my food. And I was walking and I was handed this book, and it's pretty much saying only eat like vegetarian foods and no meat. I can't do that.